Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs, and I'm here just with a little quick video. I'm getting ready to finish or get to the point where I'm finishing my Boho Gypsy journal, which is this one. Let me get it real quick in case you haven't seen it. This is what I'm working on. I've made the cover. And we've made a lot of embellishments, and now I'm getting to the point where I want to put my papers in. So it's going to be 3 signatures, so, and knowing me, it'll be pretty full. So anyway, I have cut most of my papers down, but as I was doing this, I was sitting there thinking, whenever I do my journals, this is a hard part for me, is picking out what papers and what I want in there. And, you know, mainly because I don't, use just a kit. If I use a kit, a lot of times I don't use a kit. And I think what happens is I get stumped a little bit. But then I go and I go through a process. And I kind of thought that maybe today we could just kind of go through the process together, because I do have a lot of new people, and I thought this might help them figure out what to put in their journal and what type of things to look for and what makes it interesting and, eclectic, if that's what you're looking for. So anyway, I thought I would just kind of bring you along with the process. There's nothing new or exciting here, and it's my process. It may not be anywhere close to anyone else's, and that's fine. I think people should watch as many videos as they can from different people and get different ideas. I learn something new every time I watch a video, and a lot of times I'll be watching it thinking, why am I watching this? I already know how to do this, or I already know whatever. And sure enough, there'll be a tip or something that I never thought of or I've never seen before. So in any case, that's what I'm doing. And I thought I would just kind of bring people along just in case, we have some new people out there and they want to kind of learn how you go through the steps. Okay. So originally, when I started this, I had picked out some digitals that I wanted to use, and I'm actually using them from 3 different people, and I will go through all that. But it's from let's see, what was it? Amy Joy Studios and Artie Mays. And Medieval Mirage is mainly what I'm using. And they're kind of mixed up, and I like it that way. I don't like things to match too much. I like them a little off. I want them to go together, but I don't want them to match. That's just the way I look at it. So anyway, let me move that back here so it doesn't fall. First thing I do usually is, if I've already made my cover, I take my cover and I look at it, and I've kind of picked my papers so that it would go with it and go with the theme or whatever. But one of the other things I'll do, a lot of times on my signatures, I will put scrapbook paper, not super thick, but I like to put a double-sided scrapbook paper in the front of a signature, just because I like the extra weight. And usually that's where I almost always put lace or trim or something on the beginning and the end of each signature, and I'll usually sew that on, and it is, it gives it enough substance that it does that. It kind of protects each signature. So I do that. So I looked for some, some scrapbook paper. And the problem that I had is I really had a difficult time with this, because I loved all the beautiful bright papers, but I really wanted this to look more vintage and, you know, a little bit like it'd been around for a while, and I didn't want it to look too, you know, shiny, I guess is the word. I didn't mind the shiny like with the jewels and things like that, but I think the paper I didn't want too shiny. So I kind of went back and forth as to what I wanted, and I finally decided I was going to use that paper. That paper was from, I don't remember what the name of it was. Let me look and see if I have it. That was this one. It was Dream Chaser, and it had quite a few. I had a really hard time deciding as to what I was going to do, but I really just decided I was going to, and one of the reasons I picked this too is it was double-sided. And at first I picked, you know, this one, and then I don't know what was the other one, and then anyway, I ended up with 3 that I think go well, and you know, so they're double-sided, and I picked papers in between that would work with it. So anyway, that's probably one of the first things I did, is figured out what I was going to do there. Okay, now I had already decided on a lot of these papers because, you know, even if I buy a digital, I'm not married to it. I mean, I figure I can always use it another time. But I liked a lot of Artie Mae's, but I wanted some of this Moroccan kind of stuff too, and Medieval Mirage had that, so I went ahead and got some of that. And then also the Amy Joy Studio had a very whimsical type, a few pages here and there that I really liked. I didn't want too much of that, but I wanted some of it, so I added a little bit of that in there. Not a lot, actually. So I put that in there, and then this is just another paper that I had, gosh, from a while back, and I thought that went really well, so I put that in there. So that's kind of what made that decision for me. I added not a whole lot of coffee dyed and tea dyed paper, just because I have so many blank pages from the back of all. I didn't do these pages double-sided, simply because I thought I'm trying to make this a journal that you can really write in quite a bit. So in any case, I didn't add too much of that. I added, I think, 4 pages total of coffee and tea dyed papers. And in this one I did kind of the same thing. The papers are different. I didn't duplicate any of them. Maybe one, I don't know. But for the most part, I didn't duplicate any of the papers that came in these kits, just because I wanted it to have a little bit of interest. When I do these, and I'll show you this one too, when I do these, I really am not trying to match so much as I'm trying to see that things kind of blend, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. And this is a rough draft of what I want. So what will happen is I'll put all these together, and then I'll go through each page, and I'll move things around, and I'll move things from one signature to the next, and that's kind of how I do it. The way I do it also is I don't put a lot of pages. I'm going to move this because we really don't need it for a while. When I do my pages, right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, let's see, is that upside down? I don't know. Nope. 9 and 10. And that's about right. Because I will add a few other things, and I don't like it to go above 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's something wrong here. I'm missing some pages. I'll have to add more, I guess, if I don't. I don't know. Something is weird. I must have stashed some somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's right. That's 10. Okay, and then this one. 1, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let me do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this one has 11. Not sure what the deal is there. I don't know. Let me count that one again. I thought I had them all worked out. It doesn't really matter that much, but 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that one has 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I guess when I added the cover that went to 11 and I wasn't counting on that, so I'll put that in there where it was. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I usually add my little extra things, and I'll usually put about 5 of those in there, so I'm going to probably put about 4. Like I said, I like to keep them around 15, just because I think it's easier to work with, and I know that I make my pages a little bulky sometimes. Okay, so some of the things that I try and put in, I will try and put in like this is a vellum piece that I copied, and I do that mainly just because I think it adds a different texture. So I'll add that in there. And I've got 2 of them. And I'm not going to do those 2 right now. And these are just copies of receipts. So I'm going to put those probably on these. And the order of all this, like I said, I'm probably, see, I'm going to move this around. I'm not happy with where that is. I think that should be maybe here. Okay, and then maybe put that here and that there. And I constantly move these around, and I'm not going to sew in my signatures until I'm absolutely perfect, or I think it's absolutely perfect where I want it. And so I think I'm going to put, let's see, maybe like this right here. So that'll go in here, and it can go either way. So I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to put one in here. I'm not sure where. Let's see. And I just kind of go through the process and kind of look around and think, oh, well, let me see. And then, you know, my pages are all different, so I think it needs to go back here somewhere. And I'm thinking right here would be good. So I'm going to put that here. All right. So I've got actually extra pages in this one and that one. I haven't put anything in this one. So I'll keep that in mind, that I want to put something in there. Now these pages I printed on a very lightweight paper, and I mainly do the different papers just for just to make it a little bit different for the textures of things when you're touching things and whatever. Let me hold on just a second and I'll show you what I used. Move that out of the way. A lot of times when I want something to be lighter weight, or actually this feels a lot like, it's not as light as vellum or anything like that, but it has a very light weight to it. And this is the scribble pad from the dollar store, and I love to use this because it feels a lot like newsprint, about that weight, maybe even a little bit lighter, and it's not pure white, so it really prints the old things out really well. And so I might put a couple of different ones in there, or maybe just one, or maybe just put one in the middle. I'm not really sure. Let me move this out of the way. So I have these, and I could just take this one. I don't know if I'm going to use the others, and I'll cut it down, and I can use my trimmer, using my big trimmer. Now when I do a lot of papers, I usually use my big trimmer, just because it's really good if you're doing repetitive amounts. So I know that this needs to be no more than 11, so I'll put that. It's already set for that, so I'm going to put that in there and cut that, and then I'm just going to trim off the little edge. Okay, so now this has, you know, kind of a look of a little bit older. You can kind of see through it, but not quite as much. And I'm probably going to put that in the middle, because I didn't put one in there, so I'll do that. So I had set that aside, and let's see where I might want to put that. Maybe I might put that right here. It could go that way. And also, you know, I go through and I move the papers around and I fold them a different way, and I just do it to where I think it looks good as I do this. So, okay. The other thing that I usually, here, move that out of the way and put that over here. The other thing that I like to use, and I'll use these later probably, is I do like to put different textures of different paper. Okay, this has this yellow ledger paper, which always looks kind of cool, so I could put a couple of those in. Or I could put, this is paper that's made to look like old ledger paper. Let's see, I could cut those and put those in. I'm gonna get my smaller cutter out, just so I'm not getting that big thing, because I'm just trimming. Could put that in there. And then that would be, and this just has a little bit of an edge, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. I don't care if all my papers are the same, because I don't really worry about that in the end. I don't want them to be perfect. Now, sometimes some journals I do, but this is one that I'm not going to worry about, because when I put my trim on my signatures, that will fix it all. And that's one of the things I've had a lot of people ask questions about too. So anyway, so let's just say I want to put these two in, because they're a little different. I don't want all three the same. You can do them that way if you want, but I'm going to do them different so that they don't match. So I'll put one in here, and let me think where I want to put it. You know, and none of this is permanent. I'm just kind of laying it in there just to see. I'll put that right there, then maybe that right there. And this one, I don't know, maybe we'll put it right there. Okay, so then that means I need one more in here, and on this one I'm just going to use one of these, and this is just a ledger sheet that I bought. This is a grid paper off of Amazon. So I know this one's going to be too tall, so but I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half. Or fold it in half. Okay, so I know that this one is probably, let me see, I'll just measure it with this, or it might not be. Oh no, I guess it's okay. So I may put this one in. I don't know where I'm going to put it. Let's see. How about right here in front? I'll put it right there. So that's going to go there. Okay, so the other kind of papers that I use a lot is I have these paper that I bought that are made to look old. They're not really old, but I will usually put about one in each signature just to make it look a little different. So I'll do that and put one in each one. And part of the reason I do that on these is a lot of times my music paper that I have is very, very brittle and very, very old. And a lot of times I'll attach it to this. So I put this in here for that reason. And I'll just put one here. And they're all a little bit different. I picked out, I mean, they come like 10, you know, I think it's like 40, and there's 4 different kinds, and you know, 10 of each. And I always try and put different ones in just so that you know, it's not too repetitive. I'll put that in there, and maybe I'll put this one somewhere in here. Probably maybe right there. Okay, so now I've done that, and really don't have a lot more room. So let's see what we've got. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, that's about what I wanted. Okay, so we have 14. Hopefully they're all about the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. So they're going to be about 14. One, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so we kept them off at 14. So the other thing I like to add in each one, and is in the center signature, the middle of the signature, I like to add an envelope or something. I was going to add the thing that I made the other day, but I decided that it was a little bit too bulky for what I wanted. So I'm not going to use it for that. Here, I am going to cut this with these little pinking shear things. Hopefully it'll cut, because these are not the sharpest things. This is just a bag that's been coffee dyed. And I'm going to put that in the middle. Okay. So we've got that. I've got this envelope that I'm going to cut. Let's cut that very lightly. I could do this later. I'm not going to decorate all these now. I'll do them later. And so that'll be one. And then I've got this. This is already cut. Okay. So I think I'm going to put this one in the center signature, which is this one. And I'll put that right here. Okay, and then I'm going to put one of these in here. And I might move this other small paper around later, because I think I kind of don't want it in the same spot. Okay, and then I'm going to put, where's the middle? Okay, so now we have 15 in each. There is a couple things I also will add, and this is just kind of specialty things. I don't know. I'm not going to probably do it in this one, but you could add like this yellow paper just for something different. I'm not going to do it in this one, but that's something to add too. There's all different kinds of different paper you can put in there, and on me, I'm just probably not going to add that much more. I do want to try, because I have this old book that I got. It's a world atlas, and it has a lot of old maps, and I really thought it'd be kind of cool to use these. Let me see how. Yeah, these are 9. Wonder if I tear it out and I can cut it later. Let's try that. I could just take the whole thing apart. Would probably be smarter. Oh, I did not want to do that. Okay. Yeah, did not want to do that. That's exactly what I didn't want to do. Okay, let's see if I can trim that up to it's usable. If not, I'll get another one. It's kind of brittle because it's very old, so I was probably not too swift in doing that. Okay. And then, I don't know, let's see. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so we got to make it. That's not going to work. I'm just going to trim off the edges and then see where we end up. Okay. hate to bring the title off. Let's see. Yeah, it's still going to be too, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see. I wanted to put a map in there, and because to me that kind of signifies gypsies. Make sure that's strong enough. I could put that in here somewhere. I'll probably move it around later, but that's a good spot. Okay, and then I don't know if we want to put another one. Let's see. Oh, let's see. I like to use maps because they're colorful and they're interesting. And okay, let me see if I can get that without use my knife here. They're just very brittle to tear, so I don't care if it's straight. I'm gonna have to cut it anyway. Oh, we got two out of there, didn't we? I can get that while I'm at it here. All right, so let me cut these two, and we'll put some maps in there because I thought that would be cool. And then, I don't know, where do we want to bring them to? Okay, 8.5. It's going to be... It's one reason why I absolutely hate this cutter. I need to get another one really bad. Okay. Get that. Yeah, this atlas with these old maps was one of these eBay finds, and you'll find stuff where they, you know, the cover won't be good or something, and then they'll discount it quite a bit. Now this is kind of brittle. I think I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna do that with the other one too. I'll probably put some washi tape on them because like I said, it is very, very old. I guess it was 1940 something. So they're a little brittle and quite a find. It was like $6 for this lot of these 4 atlases, and 2 of them were pretty old. So, and mainly it was because they didn't have a cover on them, or they were in bad shape. Well, for our purposes, why does that matter? Because we're going to tear them apart anyway. So look out for stuff like that. And then I will have a series on using old covers, because that is a fun thing to do, and you can get some pretty good deals on those. Okay, so let me get the other one out that I did. Where did I put it? Did I put it in a different one? Yeah, I did. I am going to go ahead and put some washi tape on these because they are very brittle. So let's see. I have so much washi tape, but let me see what would go. I have some that are maps, so I don't know. Let me see. Try that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just put this and use my glue stick, because we all know washi tape does not stick. I'm just going to put some glue stick down it. And this way, when you put in your signature, you can feel comfortable that Yep, this is not agreeing with me. I think I left the top off of this one. Not a good thing to do. Come on. I have to get my other one out. Made a big mess. Okay. In any case, I like to make sure that it's reinforced whenever it's something that's brittle like that. So, and I just don't want to worry about, you know, if it's gonna fall apart later. And when it's kind of brittle like that, you can pretty much guarantee that it will fall apart at some point. So, all right, so that makes that a lot better. I'll let that glue dry because it's kind of gumped right there because I put too much. Yep. There's my little eraser. But be looking whenever you see stuff like that. I have gotten really old books that are falling apart for next to nothing. But, you know, I'm going to take them apart anyway. So I'm like, yay. I mean, that's what I look for. I wish there was a category for falling apart books, because that's really what I look for that. I mean, because I usually take the cover apart and redo the spine. And I take the pages out, so it doesn't matter to me that they're falling apart, and that's just kind of how I like them. So that works out well if you can find some like that. So I'll put that in there. Okay, and then I'll do, let's see, this other one. Use my other glue stick that probably is not as dried out. Anyway, but I mean, I really do look for that, and if I see a deal like that, I got, oh my gosh, amazing 2 old dictionaries and 2 old hymnal music books for, gosh, next to nothing because they were falling apart. And oh my gosh, and the color of the paper is perfect. And we're going to tear them apart anyway. So a lot of times you can find a good deal like that. Okay, so did I just do that one? I did not. So let's just put that in there. Now I really want to put some music paper in there, so I am going to probably, did I put some in here? I don't think I put the map in here. Did not. Okay. Trying to figure out where I put them all. Did I put them all both in one? Maybe I did. Yep, I did. Okay. That's why I had that one set aside. Okay. It doesn't really matter. I mean, we're going to just, I'll be moving stuff around. This is like a preliminary, putting my things where I want them. But I just want to show people the process that I go through and what I add. And, I add different things to different journals, but there's some things that I kind of like to add. I like to add just, different types of paper just so that it feels different, And my whole thing is that I want it to have a lot of interest. So, it's a fine line. It's kind of hard to do. If you're not making things match, okay, but you want them to go along and be the same theme, etc., it's a little harder to do than actually making things match. I mean, I don't know that I did put glue on there. Guess I just didn't press down good enough. Okay. Alright, so did I just do this one or not do that one? Figured out later when I don't have anything in there. Okay. So anyway, we put the 3 maps in. Alright, so now we're going to be up to 16. And that's including the envelope. The other types of thing that I like to add is like if you want other book pages or whatever. I have this Sears and Roebuck reproduction, and it's really old. This is pretty old, and it's very brittle also because it's a 19, what is a year of this? Like 60 something. No, maybe before that. I think it's 1950 something reproduction. So even though it's not the original, but it's still pretty old, and it's the exact duplicate of what they had. And you know, it's basically just the Sears and Roebuck. This is what it would look like. So I always look in here, if I want to include it, at the types of things that kind of go along with whatever journal I'm doing. And in here, what I decided is I was going to get some music instruments. And here's a banjo, and this is an auto harp. This is other brass instruments. This is the guitar and the violin and a mandolin. And I thought these went really well. So I thought what I would do is I'm going to put a few of these in there, but I also know that these are very brittle, so I'm going to put them in kind of like this and put some washi tape on them. Okay, so let's see, take a different washi tape here, something that will blend, I think. I think these were all of my Tim Holtz washi tapes that I recently bought at Tuesday Morning, and they're really nice, but let me see. I think I'm going to go, well, this would be better. It's a little wider. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a wider tape just because, yeah, I think I'll do that. I do have a really, really wide tape, but I don't want to cover up the, although it is advertising. This one kind of is too. I think I'm just use this size. I don't want it to be too wide. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and that way I can put this in. And I'm doing it on the side that it was on, you know, so. And I'm only going to do it on one side because that should be more than enough to hold it. Because, you know, washi tape's pretty strong. It's just that the glue is not meant to be permanent. So you have to, you know, add glue to it. And I usually use my glue stick because I'm very confident about this glue stick. So there we go. And there's a little gapping there because it's not perfectly straight, but that's fine because it's not going to really matter. And put that on here. And this little thing with the credit card or whatever kind of card is just a trick I learned way back, but that way you don't have to cut it and it will turn out straight. Alright, so that's one. Okay. I guess I could put it on the other side. I think it's strong enough. I think that's strong enough. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, and I'm going to do this one. And then I'm going to do some music page just because I want some in there, but just do that like that. Just want to make sure it's even. And you want to get it on there, you know, enough to where it supports both pages. So, like I said, you could do it on both sides if you want to. I don't think it's necessary. Once you put the washi tape on there, this is stronger than most other pages that you're going to have. So, you know. Oh, come on. There we go. Anyway, so put that up there. So now I have these two ready to go. And this will not be sticky. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get those ready to put in a couple of signatures. So I think I'm going to put one in here. Like I said, all of this is probably going to get moved around, but so I'll put that in there. Okay, and then I think I'll put one in here. And the good thing about this stuff too is it's different sizes, so, and different textures, so that'll add interest to your journal. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to add is my music page. Let me get that out of here. Get it out. Uh-oh, where did it go? I lost my music book. It should be in here somewhere. Alright, let me hang on just a second. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, my camera moved. Okay, so I found them, and I'm gonna just do basically the same thing with it that I did with the others. I think I'm just gonna put one in the middle signature. I might add more later, but anyway, I'm going to just do the one, and this is very brittle, so I do have to add washi to it also. Let me see. I have music, but it's kind of white, so I don't know if I want to put that in there. And this is really old, so let me see. Now if I want to do that, or maybe yeah, I'll just, well, I want something that's going to kind of blend in. Alright, I'll just use this. This will work. Anyway, my point is that you do have to reinforce it, so this one I think I'm going to do on both sides. And I usually do add a little bit of, you know, things in there that are really old, and then add some that, you know, are digitals. And if I put everything that was just really old in all of them, the cost of your journal would be so expensive, because, you know, it doesn't cost a lot, but it does add up. And then So there does have to be some, you know, replication in there too. So okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then that is gonna go in my middle signature, and that should give me 16 pages all in all. Okay, and what that will do is kind of get me started on my journal. And what I do from here, I think one of these needs to be trimmed. Yeah, it looks like that one does, but we'll do that later. Anyway, what that does is it gives me a starting point as to what I want to put in the journal. And you know, I already have a lot of embellishments. I'm going to need a lot more, but the good thing is that we've got an idea of what we want in there and what we're going to put in there. And like I said, I'll move these around. And what I do now is I will go in and start deciding finally where I want these pages. Okay. And I think if you look on my other tutorials and my craft along with me, I'm pretty sure that I have not done one where you're doing your pages and then sewing them in later. And even when I do that, I still go back in and I do decorating after I sew them in too. I try and get any type of sewing or anything I want done. Okay, so like on these, part of the reason that I used the scrapbook paper is, you know, I will put the trim on here. I may put some pockets and some other things on here too. And I'll sew all of that on here, okay? And that'll be my very next step. Then what I'll do is I will go in and like all of these pages, okay, for instance this one, I'll just show you. I will probably go in and distress it somewhat. I'll ink it and I'll distress it and I'll do all kinds of, here's my little distress spray. If it sprays, and I may put a little of that on there. Maybe not as much, but anyway. And I'll go through and I'll do things like that. And that, you know, maybe add some gesso, maybe add some color. Just, that's the kind of thing that I'll start doing to get my pages ready. Now, I print all of my pages out on parchment paper, and it's not white, it's kind of a off-white, kind of a beige color. I'll give you the exact thing, I think, if I can get to it. Anyway, and then what I'll do then is I don't go back in and coffee dye or tea dye or print on coffee dye. I love how parchment paper feels. I love the strength of it on my printed pages. And so if you do it in the off-white a little bit, it doesn't look so bright. And then also you can always go in and distress it. Like this one, I can just take it and I sprayed my alcohol ink, which is all that is alcohol ink in alcohol, like about 20 drops. It just depends on how dark you want it. So I'll do that, and I'll probably go and just, you know, ink up all my sides. And I will add things to these pages. I'll add, you know, flips or, just maybe I'll do some stenciling. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll, you know, it just depends on what I'm doing. And I'll ink both sides up for sure. But that in itself takes a lot of time to do all that. And I do that first. And then I go back in and I start decorating all my pages, okay? And I will use the things I've already made. I'll use things I have. I will make things specifically. Like here, I may put a little bit of this here and there. I have, a lot of times I'll just take this and go across it, you know, just so if you wind up doing that on each page, you know, that in itself takes a lot of time, and that's a lot of preparation. Just like, you know, the beginning of my signature, I'm not going to leave this the way it is. I'm not going to go ahead and do anything with it now because I am going to sew it and do all that. But I will go through and do that on every single page until I get to the point where, you know, it's ready for the final touches of decorating. Okay, so that takes a while. That's my next step, and I will have that all done the next time you see me, and then we'll go straight into the decorating. But that's kind of the process that I go through, and I did want everyone to see that that has not done that before. So I hope that was helpful for you. You know, I struggle a lot of times in picking out my papers and that type of thing, and I'm hoping that this helps you a little bit to go through that. Okay? All right. Well, then we will see you next time.